So, Kingdom people, I had a conversation the other day with um, one of my life coaches, and this just keeps coming to me. It's just really being on my spirit. And something that he said to me was how we need someone to pour into us. And he was speaking in terms of how he said, I poured my heart out because I expressed something and it was rather passionate. And it was just mainly around, my disposition when it comes to, those who want to keep you down, want you to stop showing up, and how that's not getting ready to happen. For the most part, that's pretty much what I was saying. And even when it's tough, when you don't feel like it, you press. And I was just saying, I've expressed this here before, how I got to wake up every day. And I even said how sometimes the warfare against you be keeping you from getting up. Don't want you to get up so that you won't get anything done. And that's how the enemy works. And people do that too. Do different things to try to weigh you down so you will be too tired to move. And, even doing things in the background, the dark arts to cause that, because the whole thing is not wanting to see you show up and make it, not wanting you to, because come on, we all know if you keep putting the work in, you're going to get the results. And so the other thing that I kind of was expressing is how, just having become aware of certain people, particularly so-called loved ones, should have been, but how certain things they do when they have that mindset, and not just have the mindset, but take action in such a way to keep you from moving forward. I was just saying how that's just straight up evil, and there's no way around it. Because you know what you're doing. And I was even mentioning how, and I was in that instance, I was talking about church people. Church people. I don't know if they people of God, but they church people. Anyhow, I just kind of was really expressing myself. And he made the statement after I was done and said, see how you just poured your heart out like that? And he said, you always pouring into other people, and you need someone to pour into you. And he just was kind of letting me know he's there for me. He's here for me, and I appreciate that. And he really do be, he just is a blessing. What God showed me the other day before even having this particular conversation is that he's a kingdom helper. I'm sorry, a destiny helper. We're both kingdom helper, destiny helper. And so, because he's a kingdom man of God. And so he, he's a businessman as well. And, he mentioned, he shared a lot of opportunities, business opportunities, wealth building opportunities, things that I have actually connected with him with, that he, offers just with the things that he do and that he shares, to his, I'll say, audience, because he does have he has a YouTube channel, and obviously, like I said, he's a life coach among so many other things. And so that I'm just mentioning that part to say how that goes hand in hand with the destiny helper. And so the point that I'm really making here is to say how when he said you need someone to pour into you, and why I really appreciate that, and even him saying he's there for me, I really appreciate that. I really do. And he meant it. He's that kind of he's that. He is that. And I thought about it. It just started occurring to me later, and it just keep coming to me, how I remember another young lady, she's actually a little older than me, but I want to say a few years ago, said, you need people to pour into you. And I remember when she said it, I didn't say this to her, but what came to me right away, God said, I pour into you. That's what he said. God said, I pour into you. And for her, it was more like, what makes you think no one is pouring into me? But like I said, God pours into me, but I understand where it was coming from now. Um, Especially once I've had this conversation with my life coach, and what they were saying is you pour into other people. In other words, they know that I pour out into other people. God gives me, when God gives you to pour into others in whatever way, the point that they were making is that someone needs to pour into you. Now, that is a very true statement, that God pours into me, because he does. While there are people that, are a blessing to me, and I'm going to even say pour into me ministry wise, business wise. While that is so, because I do have that. I'm a big time learner. I'm always taking courses and just doing things that help myself, to advance myself personally, spiritually, financially, all that. And so what I thought about is how, even though I have that outlet to express myself in that way, it's only so much of that I will do. What do I mean by that? I'm not real big on talking about certain things with people. When I pour out more deeper things, more serious things, I tend to do that with God. Not saying, like I said, I don't talk to people and share things with the right people. Let me say that. And this is why I trust God. Not that I don't trust people, but people are people. And again, it's not that I don't trust certain people. They good. But again, I keep saying, well, I'm finna say it again, dear people, that's not even really the point I'm making, so I don't know why I keep saying that. God is God. That's what I really want to say. And one thing that I know is God never disappoints. God has never disappointed me. God has always been there for me. I've been able to go to God with any and everything, and I do. And I pour out to him, even when, how when you're going through, when you got someone you're mad, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's who I go to all the time. When I have a pressing issue, I'm not big on just talking to people about some problems or something I'm trying to figure out or anything like that. Now, I used to. I don't do it anymore. I used to do that, but I stopped doing that. And even when I used to do it, I still did it with God. But now I don't do that with people. Like I said, when I'm talking to people, I'm usually chit-chatting, or we just talking about whatever. I may even express some things. When you're talking to your people, you're talking to your girl, you're talking to whatever. Yeah, of course, I talk, I communicate, I express things. When it comes to more serious matters or personal matters, I guess, somewhat, I would rather go to a professional. Like I said, for instance, my life coach. There have been times I haven't had a therapist in a while, but it was a point of time where, I shouldn't say it was a point of time, kind of was, here and there I would have go to therapy, but it's been a little while. And so I prefer to do those kind of things with professionals, because for one, that's what they're there for. And that's a part of working on yourself. That's a part of self-development, opposed to just pouring that out on your friend or your mama. Not that you can't talk to your people like that, but again, these days, I just do that with God and the people that are set up and that are in place to help me in whatever way. I choose professionals who that's their business, that's what they do. And so, yeah, and I just want to say too, even like with a life coach or a business coach, and this young man actually is both, but in that particular session, it was a life coaching session. But actually kind of both kind of hit on business too. But anyhow, here's the thing. That's one thing about coaching in that way. It's designed to help you get from here to here. It's designed to say, okay, this is whatever this is, whatever. And then there's guidance and input there. So I guess I'm saying that to say that there's the difference opposed to you just talking to your girl or your boy or your mom. And not that you can't get advice from like even your mom and your dad or whatever the case may be, of course. But when it comes to just, I'm saying for me, pouring out like that, I have to do that with God. And again, the professionals are there to assist me and help me, even if I have to pour out. But when it comes to real, serious, pressing needs, unless God tell me differently and to go to certain people and to share some things with certain people, because he do that sometimes, I'm going to God. And again, it's because I trust God. God has never failed me, and I know he never will. I'm reminded of how Apostle Paul, how he say he asked God to take the thorn from him several times, and he told him he wasn't, that his grace is sufficient for him. And he said that now he boasts in his weaknesses, so that he boasts in his weaknesses, so that God can be his strength, and when you know God got you like that, you can, I'm not going to say I'm boasting in my weakness, but where you're weak, he's strong. He got you. And that's the way it really should be, I'm going to say. Not that we shouldn't have people, because even in I guess we call it the Christian community, I'm going to speak according to how Jesus spoke of it, and how when they were developing the churches, Paul and Peter, for First Peter, and all the other apostles, and eventually Paul and Barnabas, and all of them, when they were developing the churches, it was a community thing. Am I my brother's keeper? Just aiding each other and being there for one another. Of course, that was more spiritual, but actually it wasn't, because they lived, it was, with all of it is spiritual, but they cared for one another, even providing for each other for food, things of that sort. And so while that is the way that it was intended to be, we know that things got all kind of crazy. And not that some places or communities and churches even don't still have that. Not that that doesn't happen. The thing is this: people are funny and finicky. And as we know, it's a lot of witches and warlocks and people full of the devil that have infiltrated these communities. And so we have to be careful and mindful. Now, I'm not saying be paranoid or don't be, I want to say trusting, but I don't, for some reason, I don't like that word. for what I'm saying to this, to, you know, describe what I'm trying to say. I trust God. And I'm not saying I don't trust people. I trust people to the extent that I know it's kind of like this, not kind of. When I know people, I trust what I know about them. I trust that. I trust what I know. So the thing with God is that I could trust him fully with what I know, but with what I don't know too. So I guess just to sum this all up, I'm seeing, even though others can pour into you, even though there can be other people in your lives, whether it be your family, friends, professionals, to help you, to assist you, that you can talk to, that may even pour into you. That's all great, but we should be more looking for that from God. He should be the top of the top. God should really be pouring into you. And then everyone else is a bonus. Same thing with trusting people. When you trust, you got your friend, you got your husband, your wife, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, whatever, your brothers, your siblings, those that you actually can trust, because there are people you can actually trust, of course. Again, you trust what you know about them. That's how you build trust. You know some things, you know, and you know who they are. You trust them because of what you know of them. Anyhow, what they've proven themselves to be. You know them by their fruit. There you go. So even with that, when we have others that we can trust, the bigger part of our trust should be in God. Period. Period. So I don't know. I just want to encourage you all to just keep that in mind, because sometimes, I often see, and I've done this to some extent, get so caught up, it's been some time. I've been way past things like this, but where you can get so caught up in another till it's out of balance, is dysfunctional, and it's not God's will. Even, I'm just reminded again, even with the church, the earlier church, when they were setting up the church, setting it up, everything was focused around God. Everything was focused around Jesus. Everything. And so we just want to be mindful of that, even as we're having relationships with people and interacting with people, our loved ones, we just want to make sure we're keeping God first, keeping him at the head. He should be the head of everything. He is the head of everything, but sometimes we don't let him be. When you don't let him be, and and it's so easy to do, because so many people are people-centered. And I'm not saying we shouldn't. I mean, we live in this world, so we got to deal with people for the most part. When we, because I say for the most part, because some people be gone off in the country somewhere where ain't nobody around. I used to want to do that years ago. I asked God, because people was getting on my nerve. I remember asking God, can I move somewhere far away in the country or something where I don't have to deal with people? And God told me no, because I need you to deal with people. So anyway, yeah, we just have to be mindful of that, keeping God first, putting our full trust in God, letting God be the main, do I call him a person? Main one, let's say it that way, who pours into you. Then again, everything else is a bonus. Praise God for it. So anyway, Kingdom people, I just wanted to share that with you all. I hope you all are having an awesome day, and I will talk to you all later.